Hello, I'm Faye Waterman and I'm known as the Conversation Curator. And today my guest is Misty Henkel. And Misty is a sales trainer. And we're going to find out a little bit about what Misty does and why she's so passionate about what she does. Welcome, Misty.
Hi, Faye. I'm really excited to be here.
Great. Now, Misty, can you share a little bit of your background of where you've come from and how you got to where you are today? What's your passion? What's your purpose?
I fell in love with money when I was very little. I learnt to knit when I was 5, and I used to make babies' clothes, lots of them. Sent them off to my grandmother in Berks, a small country town in New South Wales, Australia. She would sell them for me, and then I'd end up with cash. When I learnt to crochet when I was 7, I would make doilies. My mum's friends would pay me $1 an hour to make them doily sets for their bedroom. And I just loved the idea of working and earning money. As I got older, barmaid was definitely one that I wanted to do. My dad was a barman, so then I wanted to be a barmaid. Growing up, in Australia, we don't get tips here, but growing up, you watch movies and they're always earning tips. And so I thought, well, now there's a way to earn extra cash. I can do that. I have to say, I'm very good as a barmaid. And if I had been over in America, I would have earned heaps. So I was a barmaid for 10 years as a way of sort of perfecting the art of earning extra cash. From there, I went into furniture sales, which was difficult to start with until I realised that the skills were very much the same as working in a bar. In a bar, you say, hi, how are you going? What would you like to drink? And then you serve them. In a furniture shop, how are you going? What are you looking for specifically? It's kind of the same sort of thing, Apple Computer. So I always ended up in jobs that were sales related to practice like add-on selling or, direct sales with the customer, which then led me to, by the age of 35, I did phone sales. I worked at Patents and Trademarks on the help desk with trademark applications, which was selling trademark applications over the phone. So they're all very similar in jobs. And then when I was 36, about 11 years ago, I discovered networking, business networking. Nothing that I've ever seen in hospitality or in retail at all. So I'm a salesman by trade, but when I went to a networking event, I've gone, oh, here's the missing piece to all sales. So then I'd start going to all these business networking events. And why I say that is because when you're a salesman and you're passionate about that thing that you sell, your ability to be able to tell someone, I sell this, I'm so excited by it, and everyone has to have it. Your ability to do that is so easy at a networking event because people at business networking events are honestly there to find out what everyone else is doing. So it just becomes very easy to say what it is that you do. So when I discovered networking events, I started attending as many as I could so that I could pull apart how to turn networking into a real sales tool, not have it as this long going, well, I keep going out, but nothing's really coming from it. And where all this teaching came about was back in my late 20s. I went to my very first sales seminar in my late 20s. So I'd been a salesman for over 10 years as a barmaid and in furniture stores and that. Yeah, I went to a sales seminar and the guy got up and was speaking about selling, how you deliver the price, and discounting isn't as important as treating somebody nice, and money goes to the nicest person in the room. So if you treat someone nicely, they're more likely to buy from you than if you don't. And because of all my sales knowledge I'd accumulated, through firsthand, so reading books and testing it out, I wanted to be a sales trainer. So I would plan all of these workshops. Couldn't get anyone there until I started going to networking events. And I realized part of getting people to a workshop is knowing who to ask. And if you don't know anyone, you can't ask them to buy. And that's a big deal when it comes to learning to sell as well. So all my sales stuff has accumulated to this knowledge of sales training, how to teach people these tiny little components that you never actually taught inside a job. So Faye, one of the ones inside a job that I was taught as working in retail is sell to everybody who works in the room, because if they didn't want it, they wouldn't have walked in. Okay, I find this completely untrue, except for in 2 places. A grocery store, very rarely do you go in with one thing in mind and then leave with nothing if you can't find it. Or just buy that one thing and leave with that one thing only, so you end up with a shopping bag. And the other thing is food and drink outlets. You do have something in mind. It may not be what they're selling, but you'll take it because it's available. So hospitality, you're always out specifically to eat or drink something. Grocery store, to buy some sort of grocery item. Everything else, most people aren't shopping. they're wandering around, they're wasting time, they're filling in time, they're waiting for somebody else, they're trying to collect ideas, they're doing things for later on. So that line of, if they weren't here to buy, they wouldn't have stepped in, is completely false. And so now I teach it as a way to, it's these little things that have stopped people from being able to sell, and now I teach it a different way so that we can get an idea of how do we actually buy, how we sell.
And it's very simple the way you do it. Now, you've written 2 books.
Yes, I have.
And your first book is called what?
Overcoming Obscurity, How to Get Noticed in the Marketplace So You Can Make More Money.
Okay.
So yeah.
How long ago did you write that?
2019 was when it was published. And it's a simple book that's 5 chapters long that tells, that's the top 5 ways to get noticed in the marketplace. So it includes a business card. What is it? What goes on it? Signature block in an email, following up, picking your product or service that you're going to advertise, say at an elevator pitch or something like that. Practicing. How to practice speaking over and over.
Yeah, and it is very simple. And as you said, it's 5 chapters, and taking you from obscurity to being seen for what you actually do is a really important part when you're in business. So your second book, which has just recently come out, is called
How to Go From No Sales to Sales in 5 Easy Steps.
And how many chapters is that one?
No, 5, actually 6. The first chapter is the 5 steps. And then after that, it's 5 chapters on the 5 steps. So how to do each step separately, which also includes practice exercises that you can do over the dinner table with people. But yeah, they're 5 chapters long. Isn't that interesting? It's only about 5 things, half dozen things that will make or break a sale. And inside this, How to Go From No Sales to Sales in 5 Easy Steps, in this 5-step system. So, well, the 5 steps of this is get known. Number 1, get known for that thing that you sell. So that could include an elevator pitch. So learning to say it. Number 2 is deliver the price. So be able to say your price without discounting, without sounding anxious. Just learn to deliver the price. Step number 3 is to be silent. So when someone knows what you sell and how much it costs, stop, don't talk. Let them decide what that means to them, and let the customer decide to buy it. Most of the time, those 3 steps, if you're silent, those things will sell for themselves. But when someone's not ready to buy, the shopper, the one that's wandering around, collecting ideas, they're not ready to buy, you need to have step 4, which is to have a follow-up system, right? So it goes through follow-up systems. Both books have a follow-up system because it's so important. But mostly you may not need it. It's only for when you need it. And then step number 5 is to get known by more people. And you'll notice when you're known by more people, they have to know what you sell, so you can deliver the price and be silent and only follow up if you need to. So the system goes in 5, but like around in a circle. But what's really interesting, Faye, is at any time from this 5-step system, because sales seems hard. What worked to convert one person into a customer won't work to convert the next one. Why not? There is something in there, and it'll be inside these 5 steps, that is always working for you or against you. It's not the ideas that you're giving the person to buy, like the features and benefits. It could be something else entirely. And so what's interesting in this 5-step system is if the sale doesn't go through, you'll be able to look at it and go, oh, I know why. I spoke to, or I didn't deliver the price, or I don't think they understood what I said, or I didn't follow up, or I haven't told enough people yet. So it could be in there. Or if it goes through, you can literally critique yourself, look at it and go, which step did I stop on? Neat. Let's do that again, right? So in either case, you'll always be able to critique or evaluate yourself to see where you're at and which part to improve on.
Yeah, and follow up. Everyone says you must follow up. But what I find that is really important when you're out networking is firstly to develop that relationship, that trust, and let people know what you actually do. So your elevator pitch, your pitch, whatever you want to call it, is really important in how you deliver that. And that's what you do really well, is you teach the people that attend your sales training how to deliver their pitch in such an easy way that it only takes less than 30 seconds most of the time to be able to do that. And whoever's in the room will understand exactly what you do.
Lead with the headline, right?
Yes.
It's like that YouTube video I keep putting out. If you say you sell coffee, if you sell coffee, just say you sell coffee. If you sell guns, say you sell guns. Like, just get to the point. What is it that you sell? That's what we're listening for. Like, as in, what's the physical thing that you sell? And the physical thing can be a product or a service. If
Yes.
you're a life coach, you sell coaching. You help in many different ways, but ultimately what you sell is coaching. And so when I teach elevator pitches, Faye, it's very much like this. Everybody would like referrals, everybody. Like, it's undisputed. I can ask any amount of people in any room who would love referrals where somebody else is bringing them customers so they don't have to do it. All hands go up, right? What happens is at a networking event where everybody's giving elevator pitches, right? Give these long elevator pitches on the way that we help and how that we do it and all this stuff. Not necessarily saying this is what I sell. I also say, what do you sell? How much does it cost? Who buys it, right? Just leave with the headlines. Most people will say, I help in this way and I do these things and I do these miraculous things, and then people end up with these great results, right? Now, if I was to hear you say an elevator pitch that told me all the different ways that you helped and the miraculous way and the results that end up with it, right? And you do it through, well, your thing that you sell is curated conversations, curated and uncurated conversations, right? But if I was to hear this story of what you do and how you help, and then I was to find someone who needed help, say, getting customers, because ultimately your end result is you help people get customers, right? But, I know someone who can help you. You want to do social media, you want to get customers. Faye, the conversation curator, she does that. Now, if they're going to ask me two questions. What does she sell? How much does it cost? Now, if you haven't said exactly what it is, curated conversations, which by itself doesn't mean much, right? And starts, and what the price is, let's say starts at $500, right? If you haven't said that to me and I just go on this big story of what you do, well, then I've got to pass that on. And like Chinese whispers, or otherwise known as telephone in America, who knows how I'm going to pass that on? And what happens is that person goes, yeah, no, it sounds good. I think I'll keep looking. No, you don't understand. It's exactly what you're after. And I can't make the words work.
Yes.
Because there's too many.
Yes. Keep it simple. It's the KISS principle. Keep it simple. I say keep it simple, stupid. Keep it simple. And
I've been told this one. The people that come to my classes or have coaching sessions with me use the KISS principle. Keep it short and simple.
Short. Yeah. And it's true, isn't it, that when you do what you do, how simple can it be? But we as individuals tend to complicate it. And a lot of the time we are desperate because we want that client. It doesn't happen. And you think, well, why am I doing this? I'm wasting my time, et cetera, et cetera. But if you understand that you have to develop those relationships first and that trust, but they need to know what you sell. So it is your name, your business name, what you do, how much it costs, and the people you help. What sort of tip would you give someone who is starting a business, someone who is been in business for 12 months to 2 years that is struggling, and someone who knows such thing as an overnight success? It's quite funny when people see you and they think, oh, they're an overnight success, but they've
I am an overnight success with my book. Sold 120 copies before it was even printed. And then when it was printed, I could send it out and everyone was getting it. They're putting it all over on YouTube and Facebook and everything. I was an overnight success. It just took me 46 years to write it and have it published. That's all. But it had, 2002 to 2003 now. So, 2022 when it started. So it really only took 20 years for me to actually write it from when I decided I was going to teach selling. So really my overnight success only took 20 years.
20 years, yeah.
I've accumulated knowledge to go into that.
So what are the tips that you would give a startup and someone who's, say, 5 years down the track and they're still struggling?
Elevator pitch is definitely it. I just want to go back to what you said is believing in yourself. No, here's my tip for that. You don't have to believe in yourself. You only have to believe in what you sell. But you don't have to believe in yourself. Other people believe in you. I personally love going to the movies. I think everybody should go to the movies. Whenever a movie is on, I just say, oh, you should go. Do you want to go? And I will just spread the word. Now, sometimes people go, sometimes people don't. Sometimes they come with me. Plenty of times that they don't. I go anyway. Or maybe they've gone to the movies. I don't even know about it. You know, for as much as I tell people, the movies never gives me any cash towards that, of which I've sold the idea. Love chocolate. Oh, I can sell chocolate like you wouldn't believe. And yet Cadbury's has never given me a single cent towards that. Cans of Coke in summer. I will argue the point as to why a can of original Coke is so good on a really hot day in summer. I will argue the point and talk about it, and I can sell the idea to people who really don't want to drink it, may not. But the idea will be mulling about in their head next time it's 38 degrees and they're thinking, apparently a can of Coke is this, right? So I can subliminally sell all of this, and I don't have to believe in my ability to sell. I only have to believe in the product. So you only have to believe in your product, and it's the practice of talking about what you believe in becomes the belief after the fact. So confidence comes after you've learned to sell. People come to me, they come to many group sales classes, they'll come to coaching sessions, they'll buy copies of my book, and they'll say, what I get most from you, Misty, is confidence in selling. Yes, but that's not what you wanted. What you wanted was more sales. As you learn how to say what it is that you do, and you practice saying it out loud a lot, the sales comes, and now you're confident. So you don't actually have to have belief or confidence in yourself, but you do need one task. So let's take elevator pitch. Well, all right, it'll end up in an elevator pitch. But so all you have to do is practice saying what you sell many, 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 many times. So salesmen do practice selling. They just tend to practice with the customer and then wonder why it all went wrong. Well, they practice at the wrong time. I mean, they say that Michael Jordan, he was amazing to watch Jordan play a basketball game, but his teammates will, all of them unanimously say, really, they should have given tickets to the Chicago Bulls for free and charged people to watch him at training, because he trained so much, he practiced so much harder at training. And when he was on the court, he virtually did nothing. It just looked amazing. But what he did in training was so much more. And that's really what it's about. Training and practice, you have to work so much harder in that to make everything else effortless. And you need it to be effortless with the customer, which is why they buy of their own fruition, because you're not anxious anymore. And it's that in that practice and training, it takes it away. So here's an easy way to practice. And it's really this, just practice what you sell. Lead with the headlines, right? Things that need to come out is your name, your business name, if you have one. If you're a network marketer, it's the company name. That is, without a doubt, your most amazing sales tool that you have is the name of the company that you work for. The third one is to finish this sentence. I am a. For me, I am a sales trainer. Plenty of people have told me nobody wants a sales trainer. It makes no difference. It doesn't matter if people want a sales trainer. It only matters that you know what I do. Eventually, when I say I'm a sales trainer over and over, people start to go, yeah, I want a sales trainer, but I need it. And it's the words, those are the words that will get Googled for. You are a conversation curator. What does that mean? Doesn't matter until, if we break it apart, conversation curator, something to do with conversations that you curate. It kind of tells us right there that you curate conversations. So by saying you're a conversation curator, it means anything else you say about your product and service will make sense to that thing there. So I am a sales trainer. I sell sales training. So then you just tell them the thing that you sell, right? If you sell many things, you pick one thing, just one thing at a time. So for me, I sell sales training, and then the next part becomes it costs. It's amazing how many people refuse to give out a price for what their thing is. But ultimately, nobody can buy anything unless they know the price. They can't talk themselves into it unless they know the price, right? And if you keep the price secret, then you get anxious about it. They get anxious about it. The truth is the price is always abrasive every time you hear it the first time. Then after that, we talk ourselves into it. So the customer always needs to know. Then you go from product I sell to price it costs to who buys it, right? The person who buys it is, because that's going to be naturally the next question that someone will ask. Misty, if you sell sales training, sales training by itself is no good, because I sell sales training 3 different ways. I've got group classes, coaching, and a book. 3 products, 3 prices. So I can't say I sell sales training, but I can say I sell sales training in group classes. So I sell sales training as an online group sales class format. And now I've got a price, 1 product, 1 price. Costs $50, unlimited classes for an entire year.
That's so cheap.
The people who buy it seems that way, right? Because it's unlimited classes, but it also is designed around the fact that people don't turn up to all the classes. So it's not designed for you to turn up to all of them. It's designed for you to turn up to some of them, get what you need, go sell, right? And for others, they turn up to way more. Others have worked out that if I keep turning up to class, I'm selling myself to everyone in the group. They end up getting referrals and extra sales from the group that they're sitting in. And they can use that as a way of promoting themselves as well. So different people work out how to do it. But the whole idea behind it was get the most amount of people in and teach them to promote themselves, really promote themselves by explaining what they do. Well, not explaining, saying what they do over and over, that everyone else learns how to promote them very simply, right? So I say group sales classes that cost $50 for unlimited classes for the year. And then the people who buys it are those who are frustrated with not closing sales. So it's those who have had sales goals for a long time and they're not achieving them. And they're frustrated and now they just want the help that what is going to get me across the line. I can tell you any sales book will get you across the line. Grant Cardone's amazing book, the 10X Rule, this one here, that will get you across the line. The only trouble with this one is, like all sales books, is they give you ideas on how to do it. They don't give you the exact answer according to your product and service. Group sales classes gives you the exact answer because you're practicing with a group and go, yeah, that didn't work. See the look on everybody's face? So let's say it like this. And then you get the direct feedback because you've got a group sitting right there, right? So it's not left with a book where you're left doing it all by yourself as well, which is what's good about my book because it's got exercise. You have to practice it over dinner, you know, and everybody wants to beat the salesman. So everyone wants to give it a go. So it's good fun. And then, it's the people who buy it, those who are frustrated with not closing sales, that have a goal that they've never really achieved. And so they come in, they buy the group sales classes, they come into group and they practice saying their thing over and over, which ultimately starts with their elevator pitch, ends with how much does that cost? How do you combat that when somebody says, $50? Why is it so cheap? And then you have to learn to say it's just a price and not explain yourself. So learning how to combat people's opinions and thoughts. So then they practice that. They get confident in the class with everyone else so that when the sale comes about, the customer comes about, they're just confident they know the exact answers that they have to give because they've been practicing where it goes right and wrong all the time. Or they can at least sit back and go, yeah, I know what I did there. Let me not do that again, right?
But what they need is you, Misty, to help them along the way. Thank you very much for your time and a fabulous explanation.
Thank you, Faye. This has been so much fun. Thanks very much.
My pleasure.